What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and this is more of an urgent video. I wanted to get this out because I know a lot of people are still asking what can I do regarding my stimulus check. I haven't received my $1,200 check. I'm still waiting on my $600 check, and I have yet to receive my $1,400 stimulus check. So I want to answer some of the questions that you guys have been asking is, how do I get these checks? When is my $1,400 stimulus check coming? How can I get it, or what can I do about it if I have yet to receive it? And I want to address something that a lot of people don't realize they can do to try to move your stimulus check along if for some reason it has stalled or you just have not received it for whatever reason. So I also have some updates for you at the end of this video as well, some kind of daily news that I want to bring to your attention because it's very, very important. Now, let's first address the stimulus check issues. First off, if you have yet to receive your $1,400 stimulus check and you are on Social Security in any way, SSI, SSDI, veterans, railroad benefits, anything like that, you have yet to get your $1,400 stimulus check, just understand, especially for veterans, and this is troubling to say, but you have pretty much been pushed to the back of the line to get your stimulus check. So just want to say that is not because, really for any reason other than the fact that it took so long for the Social Security Administration to get the IRS the information that they needed to process your stimulus checks. The problem is the IRS already had a lot of this information for when they gave you your $1,200 or your $600 check. So really, in my opinion, I think the IRS is kind of just giving a lot of you guys a runaround as far as that's concerned. But here's what we know. Right now, and I've seen a handful of people just here in the community as well that have taken the advice that I gave them about 2 to 3 weeks ago, where I said, if you were claimed under somebody else back in 2020 and they didn't get a stimulus check for you because you wouldn't have got a $1,200 or a $600 stimulus check if you were an adult. If you were claimed as an adult under somebody else and you want your $1,800, you can actually go and file your 2020 tax return, even if you barely had any income or no income at all, and you can claim that you are an independent. You're not claimed under anybody else, and then the IRS will send you $1,800. The only issue is, yes, that could affect other things, other eligibility for other programs. So just keep that in mind when you go and file. Talk to an accountant and figure out, is this something that you should do, or are you better off staying as is? Next thing, if you are missing your 2020 or really any of the stimulus payments, the $1,200, $600 from 2020, the only option you have moving forward is to file your 2020 tax return, and then I believe it's box 30 or 31 on the form. You check it and you get your rebate. So that's the only thing you can do. Even if you're missing a portion, let's say you didn't get one of your children's economic impact payment or your stimulus check. If you didn't get that for one child, or you got a partial payment for yourself or your spouse, you can actually go and request the remainder of it just by filing your taxes. So that's the only option that they give you at this time. Now, here's where things get a little bit more complicated, but you can ultimately get your $1,400 stimulus checks. Remember, right now, the IRS is still sending out checks, so keep this in mind. There's dates that I want to give you, okay, or kind of timelines. So make sure you watch the remainder of this video. Also, do me a favor, do your friends and family a favor as well. If you can, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. It definitely helps out the video. And do your friends and family a favor. Go ahead and share this video with them on Facebook, because you never know if they didn't get their stimulus checks or they're still waiting. This would actually help them in many ways. So if you can, make sure you share this with them on Facebook as well. So here's what we know. If you are waiting on your $1,400 stimulus checks to be sent to you, and you will know this because you would not see any information on the IRS Get My Payment portal. If that's the case, the only option is to wait. That is the only option. We're almost about a month in to when this bill has passed. So at this time, the only option at this point is to wait. However, and this is a big difference. What you need to do, okay, is if you've already received a letter. Okay, if you received a letter from the IRS will send out an EIP letter It's an economic impact payment letter stating that they sent you your economic impact payment and where they sent it. If they send you a letter, and it usually comes about 14 days after you've received your payment. If you receive a letter but you have not yet received the payment, or you received the letter but you have not received the full payment that was stated on the letter, then you need to wait 5 days, okay? 5 days after that letter arrives. And then you need to do something called a payment trace, okay? That's just for those people that got the letter. Here's the other thing. If the IRS says, okay, if the IRS says that they sent you a payment on, let's say, what is the date? Let me get the date just so that you guys have an actual date. So the payments came out on the 31st of March. They are coming out on the 7th of April. It also came out on the 24th of March and the 17th of March. Okay, because the bill, the $1.9 trillion stimulus package, was passed on March 11th, which was a Thursday. Many people started receiving payments on the 6th and the 7th of March. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If you check the IRS Get My Payment portal, and let's say it says a payment has been sent to your account on March 10th, or actually March 17th. If that's the case, and you still have not received the payment, here's what you need to do. You have to call the IRS's phone number and do a payment trace. Request a payment trace, okay? And you need to wait 5 days after the IRS has stated that we sent you your payment. So the only people that cannot do this yet until tomorrow, which is April 5th, are people that received if they look on the IRS Get My Payment portal and it says you received a payment on, or your pending payment was for March 31st, then you'd actually have to wait 5 days, which would be April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, okay? 5 days after, and then you can request a payment trace. Now, here's a phone number you can call, and I highly recommend you go to google.com and type in IRS stimulus payment or stimulus check phone number, and you will get this exact same phone number. But it's always a good idea when anybody you do not know, do not trust, I don't care if you trust me or not, but still go to Google and just verify this is the phone number, all right? It's always good to just double check and be 100% safe. But here's the phone number. Again, go and check it on Google as well. The phone number is 800-919-9835. I'm going to tell you again. It's 800-919-9835. Do not get those numbers mixed up. And I say this because what we have seen multiple times is scammers. They get a phone number very close to the number you're trying to dial, and when you misdial it, they answer it just like you called the number that you were expecting. The problem is they're scammers. They're going to try to scam you out of money. So make sure it is 800-919-9835. Here's the bad part. Even though you can request a payment trace, you think the IRS is going to get right on it, right? Here's the problem. They will not. Normally, okay, back when we received the $1,200 checks, the $600 checks, when you did a payment trace, and this was actually something that you couldn't do with the $1,200, President Biden kind of implemented this with the $600 checks. But if you request a payment trace, normally it would take about 6 weeks. Well, the problem is the IRS still is very low on staff. So they're saying it could take much longer, being they don't have a large enough staff to currently handle this situation. So what I can tell you is if you do a payment trace, they're not going to tell you anything until possibly 6 to 10 weeks later. So just keep that in mind. You will go and request a payment trace and you will not hear a thing from the IRS. And simply, they'll probably send you a check. That's it. So just keep that in mind. You can be worried about what's going on. Are they looking into it? What's happening? Right now, I can tell you, you will not hear a thing. It's very frustrating. I've had a bunch of people ask me what they can do. Should they call the IRS again and see what's happening with the payment trace? And honestly, no. It's going to do you absolutely no good. You can wait on the phone line for hours, possibly get to talk to somebody, most likely not. But the problem is they're not going to be able to tell you really anything. So that's the issue there. But if you are still waiting for your stimulus check, or if you know somebody that is, make sure you share this video with them, because I guarantee you there's people out there that have no idea what is available to them to either get the IRS to look into it, because a payment trace is essentially just a ping letting the IRS know, hey, this person didn't get all their stimulus money, we need to look into their account. And so they're going to do that. So that's really all it is. Some people don't realize that they can get the $1,200 and $600 stimulus checks from last year as well. Even if you had a child last year, you can still get the money for them as well for last year. If you have a child this year, that's where you're going to have to wait until 2022 to file your 2021 taxes and get the $1,400 for that child. One thing I will say is I know a lot of people that were adult dependent, or still are adult dependents, but they are claiming themselves on their own taxes in 2021 for the tax year 2020 simply to get that $1,800. And that is a good option. You can always go back to being claimed under somebody else for next year, being that the $1,400 stimulus checks will go out to every single dependent anyway, and you probably already received that, or hopefully you did. So just keep that in mind. But again, share this video with other people so that they know what is in it for them as well, because I know a lot of people are really questioning, is there a way I can get my $1,800? And yes, there is. You just got to make sure it works out for your specific situation. Now, in some other news, reports out today, and it's weird that we're getting reports on this on Easter Sunday of all days. But there are reports out today that President Biden plans on moving forward with his $2.25 trillion infrastructure package, whether or not Republicans are on board or not. If he has no support from Republicans, he is perfectly fine with that, because reports say that he will have support from Republicans. It would most likely be Republican governors and Republican voters. It just would not be the Republican Senate or Republicans in the House. Reports today also indicate that he wants to see bipartisan support, but if he can't get it quickly, then he will pivot and go another route. One thing I can tell you is right now, some of the advisors for President Biden are saying that he can't wait for Republicans to show their support. He must move quickly and get things passed. Now I thought, okay, why does he have to move so quickly in order to get this done? Is he hiding something? Because again, I'm not trying to take the Republican side. I'm not trying to take the Democratic side. I'm trying to stay right in the middle. And so my question was, when I saw this and watched the interview, was, what is he trying to hide in this bill that he has to get it done quickly? Well, then I realized what exactly was happening. Here's the reason why some say President Biden must move quickly to get this done. And it is simply because if he doesn't move quick enough, then Democrats will lose their budget reconciliation, because it must pass before the end of this fiscal year, which is September 30th. Remember, not just Democrats, but all of Congress goes on recess for all of August. They're on recess. That is their summer break. So we pretty much have now, let's just say April. We have all of April. So we got all of April, May, June, July. We have 4 months before Congress goes on recess. 4 months to pass a bill that's going to have no bipartisan support, that's going to have very divided sides within the Democratic caucus. It's going to be difficult to pass within 4 months. There's other recesses in there as well. There's other holidays. There's other things that we have to worry about. There's other bills that Congress will have to pass and will have to work on. So it's not just 4 months, let's get an infrastructure bill. It's a lot of things. So 4 months before their August recess, then they come back in September. That'll give them 5 total months to get this passed. Well, what if it doesn't pass? If this doesn't pass, then Democrats would have wasted one of their budget reconciliations for the year. The problem with this is they need it. They don't only need this one budget reconciliation, they need an additional one as well, which means there's going to have other issues. What I can tell you is over the past couple of days, we have learned a lot regarding where Democrats are at. And right now, they are fighting. They are fighting because they don't know what to do. They don't know what bills to pass. They don't know what provisions to include. They are struggling because some Democrats, the progressives, really want to provide an additional $2,000 per month in a stimulus check. They also want to provide Medicare for all. Bernie Sanders wants Medicare for more. There's other provisions in there as well. They want to do wealth taxes. And all these things are causing problems. According to reports this morning on Easter Sunday of all days, we are seeing reports that Democrats, even if they were to bring this bill to the floor right now, they do not have the votes. They do not have the votes with a divided 50-50 Senate. They don't even have the votes within the House, which they can only lose 3 votes or else the whole bill will not pass. So right now, what experts are saying is, no, Democrats are a long ways away from getting this bill done, which means there's going to be more problems, there's going to be more fighting, and it means the American people will most likely have to wait. What I said is, if we see a monthly stimulus check, and I said this a couple weeks ago, it would have to pass almost immediately. There is no way a monthly stimulus check is going to pass if we see this pass sometime in the summer or even into the fall. I don't see it happening. I can see a one-time stimulus check passing sometime in the summer or in the fall, but I don't see a one-time stimulus check passing right now. So, kind of two different sides, and it's making it very complicated to try to follow. But here's some other news, and I thought this was very interesting. You may have been one of the people that have donated, I don't know. But here's what happened. Over the past few days, we have learned that the Trump campaign had to issue over 530,000 refunds to donors during the last couple of months, about 2.5 months of him being in office. And this was pretty much the months following the election, right before the January 20th change in president. Well, after the election was over, the Trump campaign decided they wanted to try to raise some money to fight the election, right? You probably remember this. Well, he requested a decent amount of money from his supporters. He sent out an email, and I got emails from the Biden campaign. I got emails from the Trump campaign. I got a lot of emails. And one of the things that he was trying to do was he was trying to just get some money, right? Get some support. Well, when his supporters supported, they didn't realize there was fine print that would have actually taken whatever donation they had as a weekly donation. Not as a one-time donation, it was a weekly donation. Well, here's what happened. Over 2.5 months, what happened was the campaign had to refund over 500,000 people, and it was about $64 million in refunds. Simply because he was the Trump campaign, not necessarily just him by himself, was trying to collect money to pay for legal fees and other things to fight the election. Well, what ended up happening was a lot of this money had to be refunded. It's pretty much just a free loan that the Trump campaign gave themselves, but used other people's money. So when they gave a refund, they didn't have to give any interest or anything like that. And a lot of people were, back on rent. They were back on, they couldn't pay for food because, the campaign was taking some of their money that they needed. And so this created a big issue. And I don't bring this up to bash the Trump campaign. They were trying to do what they thought they needed to do to fight the election, right? Well, here's the reason I bring this up. And I bring this to your attention simply because now lawmakers are saying that there needs to be some additional rules, some restrictions and things in place so that something like this can't happen again. And we see this all the time where something gets done and then everyone's like, oh, how do we not see that happening? We need to fix it. And so that's what's kind of happening now is over the last few days, we've been hearing a lot of talks from lawmakers saying that we need to step up because no political candidate should be using supporter dollars for their own personal agendas. Now, whether or not former President Donald Trump was using this money for his own personal agenda, we just don't know. We'll probably get more reports later on, but as of right now, we just don't know. So, whether this was former President Donald Trump or if it's somebody else, lawmakers say they need more rules for the upcoming elections. So this is something that could turn into a bigger deal than it currently is, but we will see a lot of people lost money. A lot of people had to pretty much give all the money that they had because they didn't realize they signed up for more of a weekly donation. And then they finally got their money back, which is great. But the problem is they probably lost a decent amount of things because they didn't have the money to actually pay for it. We're also hearing right now that many people are not getting the COVID vaccine simply because they're worried that they're going to get sick. And now here's something I want to say, and I thought this was a very interesting analogy or you'll see. But here, right now, many studies are saying not everybody gets sick. And experts are saying this is very similar to when somebody finds a mouse in their soup. Well, they find a mouse in their soup and they tell the media outlets, they tell people on social media, and that goes viral. Well, this is essentially what's happening is people will always hear about the worst possible outcomes, but they never hear about the good news about how good the soup was before somebody found the mouse in it. And so I thought this was a very interesting story. That yes, it's actually true. I don't hear a lot of people saying on social media, Twitter, Facebook, wherever, I don't hear a lot of people saying, oh yeah, I got the shot and I didn't get sick. I'm perfectly healthy. You don't see that. You don't see a lot of it. You see more of, yeah, I had to get the shot. I got the shot and I got sick. I got the fever. I got, whatever it is, right? I don't know all the symptoms that you get when you get the shot, but that's the case. It's like, yes, you do hear more of the negative than the positive, and that turns into a big issue, and that's one of the reasons why experts are currently saying that's one of the problems is right now everyone is saying, oh, don't get the shot, you're going to get sick. But really, if you get the shot, yes, chances are you're going to get some type of symptoms, but then experts say it only lasts between a few hours to like a day, and then it passes and you're good to go. So who knows? Everybody's different, but that is one of the things that we're hearing. And one of the biggest pieces of news that came out today, and I thought this was interesting as well, I wanted to share this with you, is that out today, Senator Roy Blunt, in an interview, he said that the GOP would happily support an infrastructure bill. I thought wow, this is shocking. I didn't think the GOP would really support an infrastructure bill, especially the one that President Biden has put in front of them. However, he said yes, they would, but the only difference is it would have to be pared down to around $615 billion. Okay, $615 billion for an infrastructure bill. And he's not just talking about the half of the infrastructure bill that President Biden has put in front of us as of Wednesday. Roy Blunt is talking about the entire infrastructure bill, which is going to be around $4 trillion according to reports. So this makes things very interesting is, okay, the GOP is going to support something that's at $615 billion, but the bill is going to come in closer to $4 trillion. So they're a long ways away here, but Mitch McConnell, originally he alluded to the fact that they would there's no way that the GOP would accept something over $2 trillion. So everyone, including myself, thought, okay, Mitch McConnell saying anything under $2 trillion, it's fair game. But now Roy Blunt, who's a senior GOP member, he's saying that no, it has to come under $615 billion, which is almost nothing compared to what President Biden has actually outlined. I think $600 billion is what he put in for, I don't even remember what it was, but that was like the starting point. Again, this is just a framework. This is the beginning. Some are saying we can see this closer to $5 to even $8 trillion when it's all said and done. So we'll see. So obviously, the GOP is still working out their numbers. Obviously, Mitch McConnell, what he said was was very far off of what they were actually discussing. So we'll see what happens there. But this is currently what we know. There's a lot of weird things going on. As always, I promise, as I know more, I will come back and share more. I just want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your Easter Sunday. Hopefully you have an incredible week as well. And make sure you subscribe so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.